Hi all. So it's October 25th. And today is a difficult day. I'm pretty sure most of you are aware that October 25th is wedding anniversary. And more importantly, 10th wedding anniversary. I got married in 2013, it's now 2023. What people probably don't know, we got these for our wedding day. Crystal wine goblets. And you may be asking why I've got one here. Well, the answer is this. And this is important. Just after we got married, we bought 2 of these. And with the intention of drinking one on the 1-year anniversary and one on the 10-year anniversary. The 1-year anniversary one we did drink late, but that's because we kind of were pregnant at the time and I wasn't going to drink a whole one on my own back then. But it is a Chateauneuf de Pape 2013. And we promised to have it on the 10th anniversary. So, I mean, let me tell you a bit about the wedding though. I mean, the lead up to it was so stressful because we planned most of it ourselves, you know. We had outside help. We had a flower girl, Steph. She was incredible. We had chair covers and all sorts. But Tasha made the cake, and we sourced all of the stuff to make table decorations. We had family actually help and put them all together. Fantastic video of my aunt actually just throwing glitter over the tables in slow motion, saying, "This is how you do it." That was a good time. It was. The day of the wedding was incredible, though. I mean, I only saw it from my perspective. But obviously, the night before, we had to separate. So I went and stayed in the hotel we were having the reception at. And we were booked in for the wedding night anyway. So I just stayed in a room the night before. Almost unable to sleep, as you do. It's all I really do have to get some sleep. And then waking myself up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's all like, I'm awake now. So I get up and I just sit and I've taken my laptop with me and I think I'm just playing Minecraft. And it gets to 7 o'clock and I go and have breakfast because it's a British hotel and you're only allowed breakfast 7 till 9. So I have breakfast. I'm literally the only person in there at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I go back up to the room and I have a bath. I then get out of the bath and I just put on some casual clothes. I then get a message from my aunt just saying, "Have you broken fast? We want to make sure you're awake." So I go back down to the hall and I have a second breakfast on their table. I did decline the third offer of breakfast from someone else. But yeah, I was pretty full by that point. And then, you know, you wake up in the morning and you start getting ready. And then I get this message. Now, Tasha's maid of honour, Nikki, obviously was with Tasha. And her boyfriend, Shu, had my number. So if I'm remembering it right, because me and Tasha weren't allowed to talk to each other. So Tasha told Nikki, Nikki told Shu, and Shu told me. And I just get this message in the morning just saying, you forgot your shoes. They're still at the house. So, oh yes, my wedding shoes I left at home when I went to the hotel. So that was fun. So they had to be surreptitiously delivered and I had to go and get them without actually seeing anything. So that was a good start to the day. And it just set off the whole day, I think, because everything else in the day went perfectly right, but ever so slightly wrong. It was so much fun. So we bought each other a present for the day, and I got her, it was a Cath Kidston handbag, because she'd always liked them, and I worked at, up at Centre Parks at the time, so I got a little discount in their shop. So I got a Cath Kidston handbag for her, and she bought me a brand new watch. That was a lovely watch, and so I put it on. So like, yeah, wear this for the wedding. As it turns out, they forgot to give Natasha the Cath Kidston bag anyway, so she never got it for the wedding day. But I got the watch and I put it on, and I'm getting ready and I'm looking at the watch and just going, yeah, we've got plenty of time. We can take our time. We can do it calmly. Don't have to stress. And we get to the church and everyone's waiting, and I'm standing outside just chilling. It's all like, do you want to go in? So I'm enjoying the sun. It's middle of October. We don't get too much sun. So I'm like, well, she's going to be here in 5 minutes. Oh, look at my watch. It's all like, but we've got an hour. Then I realised that there's one of those tags at the back that you take out to make the battery work. And I hadn't actually taken it out. So every time I looked at the clock, it was the wrong time. So I for some reason, I think in my overwhelmed brain, I didn't realise the time hadn't actually done anything. So I'm sitting there just thinking, yeah, we've got bags of time. And no, we hadn't. So I go and stand at the front of the church, and so like you get all the things, commotion pulled up outside, and then we had the music start playing. Pachelbel's Canon, D minor, as she walked down the aisle, and I turned around to have a look, and she was beautiful. It was an amazing sight. At that point at which your heart jumps and you just sort of like, I know why I'm marrying them. And so she came down the aisle and she stood beside me. The veil went up and she looked at me and went, "You all right?" I was like, "Fine. How are you?" So I'm like, a bit stressed. But the service itself went off without a hitch. I mean, aside from Amazing Grace. Now, if you went to the wedding, it's still talked about now. Because we had this lovely organist who agreed to jump through a couple of hoops for us. And so we had all the words to Amazing Grace in a little booklet thing. Order of service, that's the words. And the organist had one as well. So everyone knew what was going on. And there's this thing organists do when you get to the last verse. It's the origin of the phrase pulling out all the stops. Because there's little pull tabs beside them are called stops. So when you say I'm pulling out all the stops, it means you just open everything and it just sounds amazing. And they always do that for the last verse. And so we're singing away, and you get second to last verse, and it's all like, this sounds a bit impressive. Get to the end of this second to last verse, it's silence. Trying not to giggle. And then the vicar goes, "Still got another verse." And you just hear the shout going, "Sorry." And then he plays it again. So yeah, that set everything up to a good start with the service. But it was an absolutely beautiful service. Then we got to the rings. And the rings were entertaining. Now, when I say entertaining, what basically happened was we had the rehearsals. And that's a lot of information to take in. One of them was, you stand here, you hold her hand like this, and you'll put the ring on her finger. You can't do it now because it's the middle of the day, and if you do it now, you're in front of a priest, so technically you'll be married, and we don't want to do that yet. Great, thanks. So Tasha said, right, because I was a bit flustered. She knew I was flustered about it. So she said, right, I'll make it easy for you. What I'll do is I'll get my nails painted, and they will all be white, apart from that finger, which will be red. The fingernail on that finger will be red. Just aim for that fingernail. That's it. Right, okay, fine. So we get to the rings, and I put it on the wrong finger. stuck it on her middle finger. Huge sigh. So like, you did it wrong. So like, so yeah. Couple of seconds to try and get it off without breaking her finger because it wedged a little bit, and then put it on the correct finger. Luckily enough, I don't think anyone saw, but it stuck with me. So the service went amazingly. And we had some fantastic photos. And when I say fantastic photos, I mean it. We didn't have professional photographers. I mean, we did. We had a few, but we didn't. They weren't doing it, you know, for professionally. We had Lisa. She was sort of like the head who sort of like just organised all of the pictures and stuff. And she did an amazing thing of she got the pictures, and then before we got to the hotel, she ran to a shop, got one of them printed, stuck in a frame, and had it sitting in front of the cake before we walked in. It's like that was a nice touch. That was adorable. And then we had Larry. Larry took some amazing photos. He's a photographer at Chatham Historic Dockyard. He's got some amazing work behind him. Loads of people took them, and we ended up loads of people just emailing me photos from all over the place. I've got so many. There's going to be a few sort of like spotted around this video, but the photos were a lot of fun. Getting, you know, lots of people in, and a few little in jokes as well. And it was amazing because one of the things Tasha always complained about me about was the fact that I always wore odd socks. I could never find a pair of socks. And this started back when I worked at Gala, where I would buy sort of like, I had 10 pairs of identical socks. And then when they started to get a bit worn, I'd just buy 10 more pairs of identical socks. But they would be slightly different to the original black socks. And then I'd buy another 10 and they would be completely different again. Ever so slightly. So what I would do is I would just have a box of sort of like 50 or 60 black socks, and I would just randomly pair them up because they all fitted. They were all just the same size, just slightly different patterns. And this wound her up no end. It's like, I am walking around all day. I just want some socks on my feet. Nobody is going to look. And this joke went on for years until the wedding day. I made a point, and I did warn her. I made a point of wearing odd socks. Not just odd socks, but on my wedding day, I wore 2 socks with Daleks on. One red, one blue. So about as opposite as you could get, really, and about as outlandish. And so we got them involved in the wedding photos as well, just showing off the socks, and then, you know, picking Natasha up and holding her up in my arms. And then getting the rest of the dads in to sort of like stand with her. So we got a nice shot of that. And then we went off to the reception. And the reception was lovely. There was a lot of issues getting it ready, which we didn't tell Tasha for obvious reasons. But there were arguments between Craig, Natasha's cousin, and the people at the venue because he was trying to organise it. And I'm going to be absolutely honest, Craig could organise a piss up in a brewery so well you would have beer imported from other breweries. You know, he's that good. And so he was running around to sort of like, move this, we need to do that. The guy who worked there was sort of like, look, I'm not taking any orders from anyone unless it's the bride or groom. And so like, right, so I just went over and went, see that? That's Craig. He's organising. Listen to him. That was my input for the reception, for most of it. There were some issues with seating arrangements. The board with the table plan on kind of not had an accident, but some of them fell off, and we put them back as best we could, but we mixed a few of them up. So people who were supposed to be sitting in some places ended up not sitting there. And we arranged it so that, whilst you were on the table with people you didn't know, you were also within earshot of people you did know. But because we got the table, we mixed up some of the tables, and it meant that people were away from people they knew, and it's children in the wrong places, and it all just went a little bit weird. But it was okay at the time. Yeah, so we messed up the table plan. And then there was the cake. The cake looked gorgeous. And it was just a pure white. It was beautiful. And the scallop design on it, we got from my aunt, because my cousin had got married and she had a Wedgwood cake, so blue with sort of like these white, pretty scallopy things. And she still had the silicone moulds left over. So it's sort of like, can we have the silicone moulds and we'll use them to decorate our cake? And they fitted so perfectly, and we got some sort of like Roman El Greco pillars that we put up to separate the cakes. So it all tied in, absolutely beautifully. But we have a secret about that cake. Bridegroom, initial cut a little bit out. It gets taken out the back and then chopped up. Except it didn't. Because what we did was, to save time, we went to Asda and we bought a sheet cake. I mean, the fruit cake was actually ours, but the vanilla sponge, there was no vanilla sponge on the cake itself. It was all fruit. But the vanilla sponge was an Asda sheet cake that they covered in white icing for us. One of the ones you can get pictures printed on. We just took it without a picture. And that was sitting in the kitchen already cut. So at our wedding, if you had the vanilla sponge, it was Asda Finest. I think it was even Asda Finest. I think it was just generic Asda. So I'm so glad so many people enjoyed it, because we had no say over what it tasted like. But if you had the fruit cake, that was Natasha's. And yeah, it was nice. And then I scared her, because we had the speeches, we had our first dance, and then she didn't know this bit, but the guy we hired to do the DJ also did karaoke. And so what I asked him to do was, can you get this song and do the karaoke version, and do you have a wireless microphone? And so I sang Day Like This by Elbow to her after our first dance. She was not expecting it, and a maid of honour basically fought to shove her back on the dance floor, because after our first dance she just wanted to go. I remembered the words, even the bit that sounds like it isn't words. We just go, nah, anyway. But no, I remembered the words and sang, and there's videos of it, and I refused to watch them because it was hideously emotional. And whilst you could tell what I was singing, I can tell that I must have been so tuneless towards the end, because it gets too much after a while. And I don't think I could ever do that again. Unless it was a very, very special occasion, or, some special occasion to want to pull that out of the bag again. And then the wedding reception, it was so nice just to see everyone just getting on. There was no fighting. Threats of one, but then again, it's family, of course. There's going to be some arguments, but everyone was, quite well behaved. We actually arranged for a room for us to go into. And if anyone's going to get married, I suggest you do this. A little quiet place that you can go and just sit in during the reception. We spent so much of the reception not seeing each other. The only time I think we noticed was a few hours in, and the DJ was saying, haven't seen the happy couple all evening, get to the dance floor, you need to do some dancing. And at that point, we realised that it was the first time we'd seen each other. I was It was amazing. It was a day that was just so full of love and hope and fun. It's nice to talk about it. I was scared of this day happening, especially it being such a important number, effectively. You know, binary counting system. This is a huge deal. I don't know if Pat was her favourite. Never got to drink it that often. But still. So I do the honour of having a glass in her honour. But not today. I have a feeling it's going to be more use at another time. Be it another wedding, birthday, baby. Not necessarily me, but you know, you head into the future and the kids will grow up and they'll have their own lives, and it'll be nice to have something to give them. Something so special for them. And it's stupid because I'm pretty sure if Tasha was watching, she'd be looking at me and shouting at me to have a glass. And by all rights I should. Because I know she would want me to be happy. She would want me to move on with everything and to live. So maybe I will one day. But not today.